Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, world. Hello, world. It's a beautiful day here. I'm out on the border. I'm out in the southern border. I'm definitely here. I wish I could do the little camera flip thing. My phone's not that great, but as you can see, that is the border out there. It is a beautiful border. It's a beautiful wall. And it's a beautiful day in America. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing a little special one. I am not at home today. My wife has started college remotely from home, and she unofficially but definitely kicked me out of the house for the day. She needs her space to do her schoolwork. So we're at my friend's house. Got some beautiful property right on the border. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day. A little windy, so I don't know if this thing is going to be a problem, the wind. But anyways, I've just got about 3 things I want to talk about today. I'm going to leave links to the descriptions. And I think that these are things that, caught my attention as an American. And these things should catch all of our attentions. 3 specific things. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that resonates with me very well. I'm sure that everyone's seen it already. Maybe they've seen it on the mainstream media. But there's a lieutenant colonel, light colonel is what we call him in the military, but a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps who gave some, legitimate, how do I say this? In the military, when you do after actions reviews, we call them improves. But he was looking for a common word, which not only have I been saying, but other, great Americans and veterans have been doing, but it's a word called accountability. So with this accountability thing, he was asking, his upper command, and he posted this on YouTube in a very professional manner, I think. Sure, anytime you question, question the chain of command like that, you're always running the risk of some sort of response or reprimand. Sure, but long story short, with that was that he was in charge of a command last week. He did this video, and I guess he came in on Monday morning, and he didn't have it's not that he was fired. They can't technically get fired unless you're court-martialed or separated from the military. But, in the civilian world, you'll call being fired like you lose your job and your paycheck and everything. Well, in the military, you can get fired but not fired. And what it essentially means is that, if you're on if you have a command, if you're in charge of soldiers, or if you have you're a special trainer at some great school, or you have some sort of position, they'll yank you from that position and put you somewhere else while something's going on. So that's what happened to this lieutenant colonel. He was taken. His command apparently was relinquished because he said some professional improves about his chain of command and the lack of accountability, and that resonates with me very well. I would like to see much more accountability, and I think that even having someone step up in a leadership role in a position to say, hey, this is our fault, we did this wrong, and we must face consequences, but here's the plan. I think that that's what we all yearn for, not as just soldiers, sailors, and Marines who have any type of skin in the game in this closing the war, but America and in general. We can't even get our damn politicians to say what's right and what's wrong, or apologize, or show some sort of compassion. It's almost they're on such vigilance that they feel that like any type of compassion is a sign of weakness, and that's wrong. We all need to start forgiving each other a little more in America. So I watched his video, and I watched the second one. Also, I think everyone should check out the second one. There's a couple of PayPal accounts that maybe if you do have a soft spot in your heart, and you do want to support the cause somehow, some way, this family of his wife, who knows what's going to happen. This is going to be a wild American story, what's going to happen to this young lieutenant colonel. And he was in the military at the same time I was. He was one of these great Americans who joined up after 9/11, and he was an infantry officer in the Marine Corps. He spent time in Ramadi, and I spent time in Ramadi also in 2005. So it resonates with me, and all the things that this lieutenant colonel said. I know myself, being a ground soldier, being an 11 Bravo infantryman in the Army for the 3rd Infantry Division, I know that the things he's saying are wholesome, and there's depth in there, and I can resonate with the struggles that he has and his frustrations that he has. So go ahead and check out both videos. Those links are in the descriptions. So yeah, definitely check it out and hear what this active duty lieutenant colonel, who is risking his job security to say this stuff, he's definitely putting this stuff in jeopardy. But go see it, and I would say that this is this maybe be a blueprint or a copy print or some sort of die, some sort of leading from the front, doing what's right. So check that one out. The next thing that I want to talk about, this one's not too long, but it's kind of related, which is, there's a foreseen reckoning, which one of our congressmen in Congress had mentioned today. And I was going through the YouTube shorts, just like everyone else does, saying this is the last one I'm going to do, and it's about 3 minutes long, but it is something that I think all Americans should hear from Representative Dan Crenshaw. Whether you like the guy or not, whether you think he's too establishment now, or whatever knocks you got on him, he's really speaking from the heart in this thing. And it's I think every American needs to try and resonate with one another's struggles and suffering. And the stories that he has about his experience in Afghanistan, I can tell it's not just from the heart, but it's also the right thing. But he had mentioned some stuff. He had mentioned a few specific things, and he specifically mentioned about halfway through this 3-minute long video that there is going to be a reckoning coming for the management and managing of the end of this war. And that's not some partisan BS. That's real. And I think that all of us as Americans should maybe try to resonate with that and maybe relate with that. Like, yeah, you know what? We need to have a higher standard in America. And when you have a man who, has lost an eye for this country, getting blown up by an IED, by a bomb, by the same people who he just gave $83 billion of weapons and equipment to, say these things. He's not saying this because this is some right-wing Republican, this and that hit job on Joe Biden. Nah, man, he's saying this because, it touches him. It touches him, and he's trying to approach this thing in the most professional and representative manner. So cheers to Dan Crenshaw, and definitely check it out, form your own opinion. Whether it's light or shallow or whatnot, everyone should go check this out. The last thing I will say is that, I'm not a big fan of mainstream media, and I could definitely say that Tim Poole is now that he's got the Tim Poole Media outlet, I don't want to call him mainstream, but he's getting some clout. He's definitely evolved and progressed, and he has grown. Not just him as a person, but his brand name since his days, being with Vice, and since his days on being the ground, at the Occupy movement. So yeah, but it's about 20-30 minutes long. Fast forward, it's about 10 minutes or so, and you can get into his opinion piece, his online YouTube opinion article. But he brings up some of these polls and some of these polling numbers that our president is dealing with. And not only that, he brings up, and I think that this is just the beginning of the stuff. And what I want to say is that I'm very proud of these Americans who are starting to come forward and starting to have some humility and realize the humanity. And you know what? It's okay if we're wrong about things, and it's okay to call each other out and say, you know what, maybe this was a mistake. And he has some verified sources, but he goes into some pretty big, against Trump, against the movement, some pretty big influencers, some pretty big, was it Sam Harris, I believe. Well, you should definitely check out the article yourself, or listen to this Tim Poole, because I think he's right. And I think he's really digging at something that here in America, I think maybe it might be a scary thing for anyone who voted for this president. I think it can be a scary and embarrassing thing, to admit that, man, this guy is a mistake. Or let me put it this way. you know, maybe we as Americans, maybe we have to see this and realize that maybe we might have picked the wrong guy for the job. That's not saying that the other guy was the right guy, but maybe just that whole idea of, you know what, we made this mistake together. And whether we did not or did vote for the guy or still or think he is or is not the legitimate president, this is our reality in America, and we all have to own it. So, I would definitely, hear what Tim Poole's got to say. Sometimes he can get a little cucky and he can get a little vanilla, or he can get a little amped up on opinion stuff. But this opinion is pretty fair. This is a good one for Tim Poole. So, all right, everyone. That's that's all I've got for the day. Stay tuned. Speaking of accountability, there's a lot of other things in the world of accountability. And let me say this one last thing. Thank you to all the veterans so far. I've started to see, good Americans that are veterans, stepping up and trying to attempt some sort of leadership. You saw Jocko last week do his monologue on if I were president. That's another great one to look at. And this lieutenant colonel, he's literally standing up for what he feels, not as just a human being or an American, but as a United States active duty Marine Corps officer, infantry officer, what the right thing to do is. So cheers to everyone who is starting to even internally question yourself. Was I right, or what is right now, and is what's wrong? So all right, everyone. And the last thing I'll tell you is this is, because I'm all about this accountability thing, and I keep talking about, people need to be accountable, we need more veterans. Well, by the end of the week, maybe during the weekend, I'm going to do another 50-minute long one, and I'm going to share a personal story of accountability. And it's one that's very personal to me, very intimate, but I think that America needs to hear these stories of accountability, and I've got a very special thing I'd like to share. So stay tuned for that one this weekend. Whatever you want to call it, a war story or whatever, but it's a story of accountability and struggle, which I personally have, I continue to struggle with, but it really messed me up earlier in life. But all right, everyone. Hey, you have a good rest of the week. Try to love one another's neighbor, and peace out. Bye.